There's been a lot of talk about boycotting companies lately. And the question is, how long should you boycott a company for? Do you wait until you see a dramatic decrease in their profitability and think, that'll teach them? Or do you wait until the company puts out a public statement saying, we made an error in judgment and we're sorry? Should you then say, they've done enough, you can lift the boycott? Well, I boycott quite a few companies, but I don't really think of it as a boycott. I think when most people think of boycotts, it's a push against the company. And pushing something is tiring. You're pushing against the company saying, I really like your product. I wish I could buy your product. I'd like to buy your product, but the behavior of this company makes it so I'm just not going to do it. And I hope that my actions and the actions of other people deciding to not buy this excellent product is enough of a message to the company that they change course. We want to make that company hurt a little bit. We want to punch them in the gut so that they realize that they can't behave this way. That's how I think of a traditional boycott. And so I don't boycott companies. But I do purchase with intention. And if I see a company that is behaving in a way that I don't think is positive or that helps our world be a better place, I choose not to do business with them. I choose to take that fork in the road and go in another direction away from that company. And if I feel that way about a company, that the company's values and mine are just dramatically not in alignment, I don't have any problem not engaging with them. It would feel bad to me to engage with a company that works against what I consider my best self-interests to be. I'm not angry at the company. I don't feel like I have a lesson to teach them. I just don't want to engage with them if they're going to behave that way. And I don't have any big expectations of changing a company. And I think even if you boycott a company, most of the time, you might be able to make them respond. If you're lucky, you might even get the company to change course. But will you really change the feelings of the management of that company in their hearts? Will they really believe that they've done a poor thing and want to repent and change their ways? Or are you just going to be able to make them pivot course a bit in the pursuit of profits? I think mostly the latter. For example, if you have an acquaintance or maybe a distant family member who's pursuing a lifestyle that you have an issue with, maybe this person does a lot of drugs, they shoplift, they do crime, get into car accidents, they hurt other people. They are not trustworthy people. Well, I wouldn't have a whole lot of expectation about being able to go over to that person and explaining to them that the choices that they're making are not in their best interest and not in society's best interest, and they should change ways. And have any expectation that that person is suddenly going to stop doing drugs and start being a productive, good, hardworking employee and stop having all kinds of drama with people around them. People aren't going to change unless they really sincerely want to change, and change is difficult. So instead, I will just wish them the best and move myself away from that situation. If I have free time on my hands, I'm not going to go visit that person and hang out with them, because it's not the place where I want to be. And so I don't make an active effort to try to change them or try to do anything about them. I just pivot myself away from them and go on with my own personal business in the way that I feel is best. And so it is with companies that demonstrate that they're not in alignment with my values. I don't wish them any harm or ill will, but I just don't feel any compulsion to deal with them and to give them my business. And so once a company has demonstrated that it has a particular philosophy that I might not be so in alignment with, well, I just decide that that's not my kind of company. That's not the kind of people that I want to support and I want to do business with. And it would take a pretty monumental change on their part for me to feel comfortable that they've truly changed in their hearts to be the kind of company, the kind of organization that I'd feel comfortable being aligned with. And so in the case of somebody like Anheuser-Busch or Target, maybe Gillette, who has put out messaging that has alienated much of their customer base, if they want to retain that customer base and have those customers come back, I think they'd have to demonstrate that there's been a true change of heart. And I think that the only way that's probably going to happen is with a significant change in the upper ownership and top level management. Basically, gut the company down to a shell and replace all of the leadership. I don't see that happening in any of those cases. So for that reason, when I decide that a company is heading in a path that I don't want to follow, and I do a boycott, I don't do a boycott, I just look for an alternative that is more in alignment with my values. And no matter what that company does to try to mitigate the situation, try to recover their sales, I'm probably not going to go back ever.